Hello, my name is Heidi Levine, and today we're going to go over the Stanford Core NLP Natural Language Processing tool. This is our outline for today about Stanford NLP Group, just a little bit about the group who wrote this, and we're still working to update it. Introduction, demonstration, setup, execution and result, online tool comparison, and the conclusion. So a little bit about the Stanford NLP group. They are members of the linguistics department and the computer science department, and they are part of the Stanford AI Lab, and that's Stanford University in California. And their work includes computational linguistics, human language technology, sentence understanding, automatic question answering, machine translation, and others as listed here. So, introduction to this tool. Stanford Core NLP is a suite of core NLP tools, and they integrate many of the tools that they have written, including part of speech POS tagger, named entity recognizer, that's the NER, the parser, co-reference solution system, sentiment analysis, bootstrap pattern learning, open information extraction tools. So we will be using some of these today in this demo. First part is tokenize, and this, as you know from the semester, it breaks down the sentence into different components, into different tokens, which are in this case words, and also the punctuation. And this is a piece of the output that we will look at later in the demo. Okay, so there's also the sentence splitting, which is the S-split, and this splits a sequence of tokens into sentences, as you can see here. Okay, then there's the part of speech tagger, which tags each token with their part of speech tag, and that's their label there. For example, you can see the part of speech here, and there is a whole listing on the website that gives all the definitions of the part of speech labels. The lemma generates the word lemmas for all tokens in the corpus. As you can see this here. The named entity recognizer recognizes the following entity sets. Name set, which is person, location, organization, and other miscellaneous. Numerical entity, money, number, ordinal, percent. Temporal entity, which is date, time, duration, set. And here are examples that I pulled from my output that we will see later. The parse will parse out all of the pieces from the sentences, as it says here, provides full syntactic analysis using both the constituent and the dependency representations, and the output is saved in the tree annotation, which is shown here. It's called the parse tree. And then the last section is the decoref, which is the deterministic coreference, and this is also the output that I grabbed from what I will run later in the demo. Okay, so in our demo, we will be using the following tools listed, which is, let's see, the Eclipse Neon, which is my favorite tool to use right now using Java. And then we also have the Java code. And then after this demo, I will demo the StanfordCoreNLP online tool. And today's demo in this code, the following are enabled. There are different properties that you can enable and disable for using the StanfordCoreNLP. And today I have enabled tokenize, split, POS, lemma, NER, parse, and decoref as we went over earlier, previous slides. Okay, and here's a screenshot of my code, which I will run in a few minutes. Let's see, this part is noting the line where you need to set your properties, and that will go over what is enabled. That will process the tokenize, the split, split, the POS, the lemma, NER, parse, and decoref. And this is the code that I wrote. This is the input here that I will be using. Star Wars is overflowing with important themes and lessons we can translate and use in real life. And then a quote from Leo Organa, which is cut off here. Somebody has to save our skits. And you'll see that, the full line in the input later. Okay, and this is just a close-up of that line with the properties that you need to set for this object. Okay, so for the setup, you first need to download the software, which is at this link, and I will bring that up shortly. Okay, so this is the main StanfordCoreNLP page, and if you want to download, you just go to download, and you select this download CoreNLP. Make sure it's the version 3.7.0, that's what I'm using. And then you also need to download the model here for the language that you're going to use. And I am using the English, not the English KBP today in this demo. Okay. And so you need to make sure that these file names are correct because they put updated files. And then you need to move these files over into your in Eclipse, so it's included in your models and your jar files, and also in your libraries. Okay, so this shows that the libraries were imported up here, the Stanford Core NLP 3.7.0.jar, and the Stanford English. That's the model Core NLP 2016 10.31, so last update, model.jar. Okay, so to execute, let's execute and run the program, and then we can inspect the output. Okay, well, that's the output. Let me bring this over here. Okay, so this is my Eclipse tool with the Java code, and I will go ahead and show you, just so you can see this is all the code here. And basically, this is called the basic pipeline example. Oh, and here are the imported files that we need. And here is the section with the property set. And here is the input that I am using for today's demo, which is this line here. And the text is all the way to the end. And here is the quote. So I actually had to add this quote here because in order to show the name recognition, we needed an actual name in there, and I didn't have a name in the earlier part. Okay, so here's the rest of the code, and now we will, just so you can see that, and then I will run this and show you the output here. This will take a few minutes. Okay, so it just went through, it just processed the tokenize, the S-split, the POS, lemma, NER, and that finished pretty quickly. So let me scroll back up here so you can see the rest of that output. The parse and the decoref. Okay, and I put the output to the console here so you can see it, but I also have it separate so we can go over that afterwards. Okay, so this is all the output here. Actually, the result is 3 tokens that it broke it up into. And let's go back to the output page. Okay. So for this page, this is the first sentence that it broke it up into, and it consists of 18 tokens. This is the input line here that it shows. The Star Wars is overflowing with important themes and lessons we can translate and use in real life. Okay, so that's the first sentence that it parsed. And then you can see all of the words and also the punctuation there, as well as where the character offset begins and ends, the part of speech tags, the lemma, and the named entity tag. In this case, it's 0, because there's no name no proper name that it picked up. Okay, and this is the tree here, the parse tree that we went over earlier. And then here is the other section of that. The second sentence was broken into 7 tokens and it has a smaller tree. And at the end, here is the third sentence, just the name, and it parsed that out because it had a dash there to break up the sentences. And here, as you can see, for the Leo Organa one, it shows that the named entity tag here is person. So it does not have a 0 like the sentences above. Okay, and just for comparison, they also have an online tool for the Stanford Core NLP, and it is at this website. I will show you that shortly. Let's bring up the website, which is right here. Okay, so there are 2 types that I'm going to use today. As you can see, there's a drop down here, and it has 5 different categories. Today we're just going to use the visualize and the pretty print. So first thing I need to do is copy the input. So let me grab that from my code here. And just going to make sure that it's exactly the same input that we used in this code. Okay. So here we will put our code input in and hit submit. And as you can see, it brings up everything in a visual manner with pretty colors and boxes. And these are the part of speech labels for the same input. And as you can see, it breaks it into the 3 sentences. This part is the named entity recognition, and it shows that there's one person in this whole group here. And this shows the co-reference, the we and the our here, and the basic dependencies, which if you want, you can look on the website, and it goes into great detail on all of these dependencies. Okay, so that's what it shows for the visualization. And if you go to the pretty print, we'll go ahead and submit that. And that output looks very similar to what the code output. And it shows mostly in the same format. It does not show the full parsed tree. It shows it in a linear fashion. And here are the dependencies. And here are the other two sentences with all the information. You can see that. Okay, so let's see. Here's just a screenshot for the slides, so you can see that better, the pretty print and the visualize. Okay, and that concludes our presentation for today. If you have any questions, you can go to this website here at stanfordnlp.github.io/corenlpindex.html. And thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please send them to the professor and she can send them to me. Thank you very much.